Hey everybody! Well, today we're going to take a look at this brand new model kit that just came out from Stannarts. Now, this is Bruce the Shark, the famous shark from Jaws, and this is a really cool kit. It's all 3D printed. It's resin. The parts look really good. There's probably not going to be a whole lot of cleanup on this, but it's a pretty sizable kit. I think that Bruce himself is going to be about 19.5 inches long. Comes with all these parts, and I like that it doesn't come with a whole bunch of parts. They said they really tried to kind of minimize it. I think there's 22 parts total. Now, this kit is based on the famous photo of Bruce when you can see him kind of sitting above the water, and one side of him is exposed, and you can see all the cool cables and stuff that made him work, and the little pulley-like wheel type of system that he was on. I remember when I first saw that picture, I think it was in like the National Enquirer or something like that. and I thought, wow, that was really cool. It's like a mechanical shark. So let me go through each of these parts and you can get a close-up of what they look like. All right, so let's start with the shark himself. So this is the main body section right here. You can see the interior, so there's going to be a frame that fits inside of here, and this is going to be the exposed side. Here's the other side right here. So you got the camera-friendly side and the side that wasn't supposed to be seen. Now we also have a really nice tail piece over here. So here's his tail. You got the nice little framework right here. It looks really good. I think he said they tweaked the tail a little bit from the initial pictures, but you can see how that looks inside. They're really nice parts. I mean, look at how good this looks. Parts look really nice. These are resin. I'm glad it's resin. And very nice high quality parts. Here is Bruce's head. That is awesome. That looks so good. This looks quite accurate too to that picture. So you can see how his head looks right there. Very, very cool. I think this is the top part of his mouth. So this is going to fit down the teeth. Look at the teeth. They're sharp too. Those are sharp teeth. So I'll have to paint all that inside there. This is going to be a big paint job. This is going to fit, you got the two, kind of fits down inside this little ridge right in here. Kind of goes down in here. Oh no, it goes this way. I'm sorry, I got it backwards. I was thinking that's the bottom of his mouth, but it's the upper part of his mouth. So I'm not going to push it all the way in because I may not get it back out. But it's going to fit. Oh, actually, that's exactly how it fits. It's going to fit like that. Look at that. It looks very cool. Love it, love it, love it. And then we also have the lower jaw, which is right here. This is the lower jaw piece. More very sharp teeth. Look at the detail on there. Look how good that looks. That's really nice. So we'll put this head back on here. So this is going to squeeze in between these like little jowl-like things in here. Somewhere like this. I'm going to have to get that other piece back on here, but he's going to look really good. Love these parts. All right, so now let's see. That's did I show you this? No, I haven't shown you this one yet. This is the open section, which is going to go in front of this, like that. You got the big, huge gills right here. Very nice piece. Like I said, there's not a lot of cleanup. Let me see. Here is the frame that goes on the inside. This is really a nice piece. Look at that. That's all one thing. Thank goodness you don't have to glue on all these crazy little bits and bobs, because those kind of things drive me crazy. So, yeah, you can see all the detail on here. Let's get the framework of the tail. There's like pneumatics in there. You know, that shark, as many people know, didn't work. You know, they made 3 of them at the cost of $500,000 a piece. And they worked fine on dry land, but once they got them in the water, that's when they were having all these problems. I think the salt water started eating away at the cables and the electronics inside. Really unfortunate, and poor Steven Spielberg was practically pulling his hair out trying to get footage of the shark. Here's the little section that's, you see it in the picture, it's like a little base that's attached to this part. I'm not sure how all these parts go on yet, but it had this like pulley system, and I guess when it turned, that's what made the head turn back and forth, and maybe the tail move, and then the mouth open and close. But yeah, the shark was infamous for not working when they needed it to work. Let me see. Here is the pectoral fin. That's going to be on the side that's the camera-friendly side. Another nice piece here. We got, oh, this is the lower jaw piece. So this piece actually goes in here. You can see how it fits in there. I think that's the front. It's going to go in like this. And I think it goes just like that. And then it's going to go on the head right here. So it's going to fit between these jowls. Now, like I said, it's kind of a tight fit in there, so I'm not going to force it. You can see that's how it's going to look. Oh, that looks so good. I've always been fascinated with the Bruce, just because of the history of them, and none of them survived. There's one that's in a museum, but it wasn't used in the film. It was the infamous one that was left in the junkyard, and it was finally saved. This piece goes on the bottom of his body. I'm not sure if that's actual part of the shark or if this piece is like part of the mechanism. I'm not really sure. Here we got some tubing. Here's another piece of tubing right here. I'm going to put all these on the inside. There's some kind of like hydraulic type systems here. There's another piece of tubing. And this is a nice piece. Look at all this. So somehow all of this goes together. Here's another section here. Very nice pieces, very nice quality. Let's see, I think that's all the... Oh, we do have a couple of pieces of the acrylic. Those acrylic pieces, these are going to go inside the base to help hold Bruce up. Because I'm guessing the model might be kind of heavy, but this base is very heavy. So this is the bottom section of the base. You can see this really nice detail right here. Goes all the way around. Very, very cool. And of course, you got the Jaws logo right there. And then on top of that is going to go this piece. This is the water. So there's the water. That's where the two acrylic rods are going to go. This little thing here is where this tower is going to fit in here. And then this whole thing goes on here. Got these little bumps on the back that you match up to that. Everything's kind of keyed, so you can kind of fit it in there. But yeah, it's going to be very cool. It's going to go like this. That's a nice hefty base right there. All right, so I just hope I can make this look good. I'm not that great at painting. Well, I do okay painting, but when it comes to organic stuff like Bruce here, that might be a little bit more challenging. But I guess I'll go ahead and get started on it. Hopefully I can do this kit justice. All right, so this is what I've got going on so far. Oh boy, this interior section here is... well, there's not a whole lot of pictures online for reference. I could only find 3 pictures that shows Bruce's exposed side. And the only thing I could really make out is that there's this tan kind of main structure in the center here. So I went with that. It looked tan. Sometimes it looked yellow. I found something that's kind of in the middle. I can't remember. It was some kind of a tanned color. From there, I just kind of winged it. I just had to kind of take some artistic license here because really there's not enough pictures. Like the inside looks too dark in the picture, so you can't really make out what color everything is. It looks like the frame was kind of black or dark, so I just went ahead and went with this gold on the this gunmetal color right in here. Those things I just made gold and silver. I think I can't remember what those are. The servos, I think is what those are. Oh, and that thing, by the way, that the copper and the silver piece right in there, what a pain that was. So this whole frame, once you glue everything on and get done painting it, it's got to fit down in here. And you can see it goes inside. Well, it's kind of hard to see now, but there's some struts that you glue in. See that little tan strut down there? Okay, there's 3 others. And when you're pushing that down, inevitably, this thing got bumped and it just fell off. And once the frame was in there, I already had the glue on, and so there was no way I could take that off. So I had to fish that thing out of there and then try to somehow hang it upside down and re-glue it because it clips onto those side things. And man, that was hard. So I ended up putting some glue in there. I used some of this E6000 because it kind of gives you a little bit of time to work with it, but it has a nice strong bond. And somehow, some way I managed to get it in there. I had to use one of these toothbrushes to kind of hold it in from the back. Here's the, this is really cool right here. This whole, it's like a piston type of thing going on in here. It looks really cool. I just went with some silver and some gunmetal and just kind of put some silver in there. I just put some copper bits in there. I like copper. It's just such a cool color, and I just kind of figured I'd put some in there. That hose, I decided to make it green. Just so it's not just gray. Added some kind of like PVC pipe corners on there. Not sure what that is. But you can see how all of this looks down here. Here's the main structure of the tail. So I also painted this. This is the, I don't know what it is, like a big old wheel. I went with gunmetal on this as well, a little bit of silver on it, just to kind of add some difference. Here's another one of these hoses. I went ahead and painted 2 of them green and left 2 of them gray, and then painted those little tape marks red on there. And let's see, what else? Oh, here's another hose. I went ahead and left this one gray, but I just colored the tape on there. Haven't done anything with all this yet. I painted this white just so I could kind of get the lips white, because the lips on Bruce are white. So I'm gonna have to. Oh, let's see. I think I did paint this too. So I painted that white too, because once you put the mouthpieces in there, it's gonna have to have some white around there. I'm still debating on how I'm going to paint the outside of the shark once I get it done, because he's dark on one side near the top and he's light on the other. Let's see, I did paint the mouth. Here's the interior. Just kind of went with some, I started with a dark red, or I just started with, to me, a red right there. And then from there, I took a dry brush. I bought these nice dry brushes. Where is it? Yeah, it's down here somewhere. It's right there. Okay, so, and I just kind of did some dry brushing with some pink. So I used some pink color to kind of bring these up. But actually, before I did that, I put some purple. So I used some purple in there, and I just kind of put the purple down into the darker recesses, so it kind of gives it some depth in there. And then I've seen pictures inside of sharks' mouths, and it has these like black gills. You can see kind of like the gills back there. I haven't painted the teeth yet. I still got to do that. And then here's the lower jaw right here. So I think it looks pretty cool. I didn't want him to make him look too bloody. There's some scenes in Jaws where you can see, there's some stills where you can see all this blood coming out of there, but I don't really want him to look bloody. I want him to just look kind of regal in a way, because he kind of was regal, even though he was the antagonist in the show. But anyway, that's what I got going so far, and quite a bit of stuff going on. I really do like the way that looks, but man, what a hassle that was to get all that put in there. All right, so this far now along, this tail was a real you-know-what to put on. I just don't know why I couldn't get it to fit right. So here on the instructions, see this little thing right here that sticks out at the end? Okay, that fits inside the hole that's in the back of the tail, but it was just too long. I could not get this whole thing to fit in here. I ended up cutting off that piece right there. I just used a Dremel and cut it off, because that was the only way I could get the tail to go on. I was squeezing it and pushing on it really hard, and I just couldn't get it to go. Now I got it in there, but I will say there's a lot of gaps in this. There's going to be a lot of seam filling on this. And even when I was test fitting it, I noticed that there was going to be some major seams. So I'm going to be breaking out some serious perfect plastic putty here to get that filled in. But man, that was just a real hassle to get that tail on. So I'm going to be curious to see when other people build this kit. I want to see if they have the same issues I had with that, because boy, that was something else. I mean, everything fits the way it's supposed to, because there's those struts in there, and you can only go in that one way. So I'm not really sure why that was as long as it was. I don't know, something wasn't right there. But and you couldn't widen the hole inside there, because you can't reach anything down in there to widen it out, because that's already all put together. All right, well, I guess I'll keep on going. All right, so I've got some seam work going on here. Let me see if I can grab this thing. So it's got a little bit of weight to it. Here's the head put on now. Got the mouth all painted in there. And then the seams, got all the seams done. I just used some perfect plastic putty. I'll say one thing. If you got an old thing of perfect plastic putty, throw it away and get a new one, because I think mine was at least a year old, and it was all hardened and dried out. But I mean, you could still use it, but it wasn't as fresh as this stuff. But you can see all the seam work that needs to be done on this. Here's the bottom. This runs all the way down to the bottom here, and you got to kind of get these fins filled in. Same with that one. Let me see. Let me try to turn this around. You can see the top right there. This one goes all the way around as well. So yeah, lots of seams to fill. So let me see. I think what I'm going to use is for the top part of the shark. It's that dark gray color. I think I'm going to use this TS80, TS67. What is that? Lynn gray. And then for the bottom, I'll just use the TS27 matte white. And then I'll have to try to figure out how to blend in because it's gray and then it kind of blends into the white, and the white kind of goes around the mouth here. I already put some white around the mouth because I wanted to. It's hard to grip this thing because it's not a good way to grab it. Try to put some white around there, but I think I'm just going to hand paint that. I was going to make his mouth bloody. I don't know if I mentioned that earlier, but I've decided to not do that. Gosh dang, he's kind of unwieldy. But yeah, so I think what I'll do is where the gray and the white meet, I'm just going to use a dry brush and just kind of try to blend it in. But anyway, this is pretty cool. I'm really liking it. I do wish the pieces fit a little bit better. Those gaps were pretty bad. I normally don't mess around with seams. If you watched my channel before, I'm not really a seam guy. But with this one, you really do have to kind of address those. All right, well, let's see how he turns out after I get more stuff done. Okay, so I've been working on this for quite a while now. And I have to say, I think he turned out looking pretty good. I was really worried about painting this because I can paint spaceships and stuff like that, but when it comes to organic stuff, like a shark or something, I'm not usually that good at that kind of stuff. But I think he turned out pretty good, as you can see here. Now, those three different sharks for that they made for the movie, and I'm sure they were all slightly different. I just kind of went with a generalized look. They all kind of have the same kind of the way the white and the gray is on there. Just kind of, it's not always the most even. It's not like an even line or anything like that. And so I use that dark spray paint, as I mentioned, for the top and on the bottom. And you can kind of tell if you look at it in the light or if the light catches it. But I ended up hand painting all of this because it's such a weird shape to it. And, I don't have an airbrush to do all this. And even I think with an airbrush, it might have been a little bit difficult to kind of get the weird shaping on all of this. You can see the other side. So, I tried to kind of go with what they had from what I could see in different pictures, but I think he turned out pretty good. His eyes, I just did his eyes. I put everything, I put a dull coat on everything just to kind of help protect the paint and kind of take the shine off of stuff, and it kind of just makes the paint look a little bit more, like finalized, I guess. But yeah, okay, so I am pleased with this. So Bruce here is completely finished, thank goodness. So now I can start working on the stand. Now this thing here, these little struts go on the inside of Bruce, so they're going to go on the other side of him here. Or actually, they're going to go right inside here. See those little struts right there, and then the one right over on that side. Well, these holes weren't big enough. I had to take a drill bit and just kind of hand turn a drill bit in there to widen those out. I mean, you could put them on there, but you have to really push hard, and I don't want to be pushing super hard on the interior frame of all that stuff. I don't want to break anything. So, yeah, that was something I had to adjust. Here's the stand. Let's see if I can dig it out from all this stuff. So I think what I'm going to try to do with this is I went ahead and painted the top part white already. And then I'm going to use this clear blue and clear green. And I'm just going to kind of paint it on here and try to make it look like water for the top part. Haven't decided what color I'm going to make this bottom section yet. Here, let me put this off to the side. So it's got this neat little kind of thing going on in here. I might just paint it gold or silver or something like that. And then, of course, just paint the Jaws logo the red color that it is. But I'm glad I'm finally down to the stand because you're going to spend a lot of time on this guy here. And so finally can work on that. I already painted all the pieces that go with that. I painted that little tower piece, that part that I just showed you, and then the little pipes that are going to go on there. And then they in the instructions, it said if you want to add more tubing and stuff, you can do that. I had to scrape the paint right there because that's where those little things are going to glue in right there so that they'll adhere a little better. All right, well, I'm very pleased with this. Whew, glad to have this part done. All right, onward and onward. Okay, so, oh man, I've been working on this pretty much, well, for hours. I really love the way this stand turned out. It looks really good. The stand itself has got a really nice design. So I went ahead and went with the gold color that I mentioned earlier. I put a little bit of silver highlights on those little buttons there. There's the Jaws logo. And then that clear blue and clear green really gave this a really cool look. I really like this. Look at how it's so glassy. It looks like real water. That is not a gloss coat or anything on there. That is just the way that paint dries, that clear blue and green from Tamiya there. So I went ahead and glued the top part to the bottom part here. These aren't glued in yet. I just needed those to make sure that they were aligned properly. And you're gonna have to scrape those holes where they go in to make sure they fit right, especially on Bruce itself. But I really love that. That looks really cool. There was some dripping on the side here, and I kind of like that. It ended up kind of making it look more watery or liquidy or something. So I just went ahead and left that on there. But yeah, this looks really cool. A really nice stand. I like the design of it. But yeah, I don't know. I'm really pleased with the way this turned out. It just has kind of some nice water look to it. It's kind of hard to paint something like that. I think that glassy smoothness is what really adds to it. All right, well, yes, I can. I think I'm almost done. I just got to glue everything on. I hope everything fits. These tubes and stuff, they have to fit in these holes here, and they have to line up with Bruce. And I'm hoping that'll line up properly. It's going to be difficult, same with this thing. I'm sure I'll be fighting with that. All right, well, hopefully this turns out good. Okay, here he is, all finished. Man, oh, this is such a cool model. Look at how beautiful this is. I am really impressed with this. It turned out looking really good. I absolutely love it. I didn't think I could make it look this good. Like I said, I'm not. There's a lot of really good model builders here on YouTube, and I'm always jealous of how good they can make stuff look. And I know a few of them are going to be working on this model, but so I'll be interested to see how theirs turns out as well. But oh man, this is just a gorgeous model. I absolutely love it. I love how if you want to display it this way and see Bruce in his entirety, you can do it that way. I mean, look how regal he looks. I know he was the antagonist in the movie, but let's face it, he was the star of the show. I love this. He's about 19 and a half inches long. I'm definitely going to see if I can get a display case for him. I usually go through Kingdom Brick Supply to get those because they just make really nice ones. But anyway, yeah, look at that. And I love how this side has all the exposed stuff going on. Now, if you look at that picture, I think I mentioned this earlier. They said if you want to add more hoses and stuff, you can. I honestly feel like the hoses that come with this kit are just fine. You don't need to add any more. I think they said they didn't add any more because they didn't want it to look cluttered. And I agree. I don't want it to look cluttered either. I will say, though, that the last part of this build was an absolute hair puller. If I had any hair, I would have pulled it all out because it was rough. It was really rough. For one thing, it's like whenever you have to put a bunch of stuff together and they all have to go together at the same time, I hate that. And that's kind of what happens with this. So you have to they say to dry fit everything first, and even dry fitting, you can't really do it. So I kind of, let's see, how did I do this? I don't even remember. All I know is I fought with this for an hour. I think I went ahead and glued the struts, the clear acrylic struts, into Bruce's body first. And then from there, I glued this wheel. The wheel gets glued into here. I'll give you some close-ups of all of this here in just a minute. And then what was really difficult is when you're putting this on, I don't know what happened here now. I fought with this and fought with this. And when I put everything on, I heard something snap. And it wasn't until I realized a little bit later that this whole section up here popped off right up here. And it actually snapped the struts that are down inside there. So I didn't have that support anymore. But thankfully, because those little clip things attached to that main strut in there, it gives it a little bit of extra strength. But what was so hard is that things just were not lining up. I could not get anything to line up right, and this thing was, you had to kind of like almost put it on crooked. So here's a tip: if you build this thing, don't push this little tower thing, don't push it all the way down into the base. You're going to need it to kind of stick up a little bit in order for the wheel to match up with this. And here, if you look at the side, now see, the wheel isn't exactly in the middle. You should have seen it before, though. It was like way over here to the side. And I had to fight with that and keep moving things. And I don't know what it was. I couldn't get things to line up properly. Here's where that goes on the side. I finally did manage to get it. But like I said, you have to really kind of finagle with all of this to make it work just right. All right, so now let's get some close-ups going on here. So you've seen most of this, I think, for the most part, but yeah, this interior is pretty cool. Like I said, I think they did the best they could with the photos that were available in getting some of these details in here because there's not really any real clear or bright photos that go on in here, but you can see it looks pretty good. Tried to match things up, like I said. I did take some artistic license with some of the colors because you can't really tell. But here's that big strut piece in here that I was talking about. See how they connect to the main pipe right there? They have like a little coupling right there. But then there's some struts down in there, and it's a pretty solid piece once you glue it in. But whenever as soon as you put Bruce onto the main stand here, trying to get this to match up with this piece was really hard. I couldn't get that little axle right there to go into the slot like it's supposed to. I finally did manage to get it. But the only way I did that is by not pushing this all the way down. So I'm not sure if you can tell, get some lighting on there, but it's not pushed all the way down in there. And that's because you need that extra height to get it in there. So I think they should have made that slightly taller, this piece, to get it just right. And then also, once you do it, you're twisting and trying to, contort everything in there to make this fit right. Because you got to get both axles in those little U-shaped things down there. And then you got to try to make sure the wheel is kind of straight. Yeah, I really had a struggle with that. I had such a hard time with that. Now, another thing that was kind of difficult are these hoses. So you plug in those right there, and this hose, once it kind of winds around here, is just barely long enough to go inside that hole. And it looks really cool. It kind of drapes around the wheel right there. But then this gray one right here was a real pain. You bring it over here, it goes down like this, but then see how it goes behind this silver strut right there? And then it goes through the wheel and down back here. And it wasn't long enough. See how it kind of got a glob of water right there? Well, that's actually hot glue. And then after I painted it that blue color, it looks like a bubble in the water. Thank goodness. Thank goodness that clear paint, that clear blue paint is so forgiving to make this look like water. I mean, close up, it's probably not looking as good as it does in person. When you pull away, and because of the shine on there, that shine on there that I showed you earlier. See if I can get some reflect. See that gorgeous shine on there? That clear paint, that clear blue, boy, that works really good for water. I just put a little bit of clear green in there just to add some depth or something in there. There's the Jaws logo. Here's the nice stand. I love that stand. I'm kind of glad I went with gold. I think you can do anything. There's probably some people that are going to do all kinds of modifications on Bruce here. They'll probably do all kinds of different things with him, possibly. I just wanted to build him just the way he was designed. But, oh man, this is so cool. Now here's Bruce's head. I dull coated everything to make him not so shiny, but I did use a gloss black for his eyes, just to make his eyes look shiny. I think that looks really cool. Here's his mouth. Oh, that looks so good. Look at that. I love those jaws. Look at that. I love his teeth. Look at all those rows of teeth. Man, can you imagine having this thing coming at you in the water? Oh, I remember that movie did scare the pants off of everybody. They were like, it's not safe to go into the water, or well, I can't remember what the whole thing was, but it was terrifying. I mean, you watch it now and you probably don't think it's as terrifying, but you got to remember that movie came out, in the early 70s or something like that. Steven Spielberg did such an excellent job on that. I really love that throat detail back there. You can kind of see all that going on. Get the light down inside there. But I wish I could get the light in there better. But you kind of saw that detail earlier when I was building this. I spent about a good week working on this thing. Here's the other side of it. So, yeah, you know what? I think the transition between the white and the gray is pretty well defined here. I just dry brushed it to kind of make it look like it kind of fades in there. An airbrush probably would have done a nice job making it look a little softer. It looks a little softer back here. That's because I thinned the paint down back there. And then, it's kind of weird the way the shark's coloring is, because it's all white and then it turns totally gray right here for this pectoral fin. And then you got this back one over here. And so it's white until it gets to that point. But yeah, look how cool he looks. I love the way he looks even just like that. Very, very cool. Yeah, this is a great model kit. Absolutely love this thing. All right, well, there we have it. The awesome Bruce the Shark from Jaws model kit from Stannarts. I'll put a link in the description to Stannarts' website for this kit. I think as of the making of this video, he might be sold out of these. I got this on a pre-order, but I'm sure he's going to get more in stock. Obviously, this is a popular kit. It's a complicated kit as far as some of this stuff goes and the way things go together. Some people probably have a better, easier time with it than I did. I just ran into a few hiccups here and there. Like when I mentioned I couldn't get that darn tail on just because of that back section in there. It was almost like something wasn't fitting right. And everything was positioned where it's supposed to because there's struts in there. That's where it's supposed to go. So I had to cut that piece off to make that tail fit on there. Not sure what the deal was with that. Once again, when you start putting the whole thing onto the stand, you're in for a fight. Just let you know that you're in for a fight, or maybe it's just something I did wrong when it comes to getting that wheel in there. But oof, man, that was rough. But oh man, this kit is so cool. Look at how good Bruce looks. I'm not sure a kit has ever been made of this exposed version of him. Maybe it has, I don't know, but the detail in this is great. So Stannarts did a fantastic job on this. The pieces look absolutely gorgeous. Everything looks really good. I love how you can display it whichever way you want. And yeah, just a very awesome looking kit. All right, well, that's it for this video. Hope you enjoyed it. And if you did, don't forget to hit the like and subscribe buttons. I very much appreciate it. And until the next time, I'll see you on the next video. So thanks again for watching and have a good one.